Money maker. Businessman. Here we go. We're waiting to get to Oshodi. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for tuning into today's video, the drive to Oshodi in Lagos, Nigeria. I have been to Lagos multiple times. I've used public transport, but today I want to show you what it actually is like in 2026. A lot of you might have experience or using public transport all the time, but there will be some of you that have no idea on how it works, that might even think it's not safe or so to say. So I'm gonna just take you along a little and so you can see for yourself, also see the streets of Cele-Ijesha here and the crazy busyness of the market in Oshodi. So let's go. So before we get further into today's video, if you're enjoying discovering new places and experiences, then please make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's completely free and it's one of the easiest ways you can support what I'm doing. Every subscription, like and comment helps these videos to reach more people, show them Lagos, show them Nigeria, and help also me creating more adventures like this. All right, enough talking, let's get into today's video. So you could see we got on the KK first, the little tricycles. Here in Lagos, Nigeria, they are usually orange, yellowish. They can take up to 4 people. One will have to sit in the front, 3 at the back seat. I recommend not to necessarily sit in the front. It's not that safe. Children ideally sit in the middle if possible. However, it's actually a little secret, my absolute favorite form of public transport in Nigeria. So because I don't like to drive there really, I love to take those. It's this ride here to this bus stop here in Cele-Ijesha. It was 200 naira each, which is the equivalent of like 20 cents in euros, which we're using here in Germany. So these are the transport buses, the little ones here. On the mainland in Lagos, their color is orange again, yellow, orange-ish. But on the island in Lagos, they will be blue with white. There will be other videos I'm gonna post so you can see them in case you haven't yet. So we're getting on one of those buses to go to Oshodi Market. I am not really aware of how many people they actually can take. I would guess it's gonna be around 10. Me, myself, I was the passenger princess today, which was ideal, so I can show you a little bit of how the streets look and what the vibe is. I think this was like around 500 naira per person, so pretty affordable for us as a foreigner. However, please always put into consideration a lot of people in Lagos do not have that much money, so they need and depend on these forms of public transport. Here we go, we're waiting to get to Oshodi in Lagos and we're taking public transport just to see and show you guys around, and because actually my son loves taking public transport, so yeah, see how it works. Money maker, businessman. So we're going to Oshodi Bus Stop, very famous here in Lagos. I'm gonna take you along. It costs around 500 each in this bus, 500 naira, which is around, let's say, currently like 30 to 40 cents per person to get them up in this public bus. And yeah, you're gonna see it's one of the main points, turning points in Lagos, I would say, for a lot of people to travel. So let me take you on that experience. That one I wouldn't.
One question then how life is been.
So these yellow minibuses, they are still a massive part of everyday Lagos life. Research on transport demand in Lagos estimates around 24 million trips every weekday across all forms of transportation though. And among monitorized journeys, around 72% were being handled by minibuses, like those that we are just taking now. So for this journey from Surulere area towards Oshodi, currently the price is roughly around 500 naira, but the actual street price, it can actually change depending on exactly where you bought, the traffic conditions and the demand of that day. And traffic is probably the biggest challenge along moving around Lagos, I would say. So you can see here, this was in the morning, however, not the early morning hours, and the traffic was okay. Unlike when we get to the busier market area, you will see it's getting a lot more packed. So is public transport in Lagos safe? I wouldn't describe every form of transport in exactly the same way. The more formal are regulated service providers, more structured experience, while those yellow minibuses, they can vary considerably in the vehicle's condition, driving style and of course comfort. I felt very safe here, but I can obviously not speak for everyone. So driving through this market is starting here. The first thing that hits me is the sheer amount of color, movement, and energy. It's everywhere. You have vendors selling everything from clothes to shoes to food, electronics, household items. Honestly, it feels like you can find almost anything here. And what fascinates me about markets like this is that at first glance, it looks like a complete chaos. People are moving in every direction, vendors are calling out to customers. But the longer you watch them, the more you realize there's actually an organized system inside this little chaos. The sellers know their spots, customers know where to look, and somehow everything just flows. It's loud, it's colorful, it's intense, but that's exactly what makes walking or driving through a market like Oshodi such an experience. And in general, the energy Lagos has and holds. I mean, how can you not get carried away? Like, I mean, I'm in love with that city. So we are driving towards the Oshodi Transport Interchange, and there's actually quite an interesting story behind this place. Oshodi has long been famous for its markets and street tradings, but part of the old market area were completely transformed. It was around 2016, someone told me. Unfortunately, the markets that existed here were completely demolished. Traders were relocated as part of the wider redevelopment of Oshodi. So part of its transformation is what we're driving towards now, this enormous modern transport interchange. So the scale of this place is pretty impressive. There are actually 3 separate terminals, and each is covering around 30,000 square meters. The entire interchange was redesigned, so you can see it here at the end of the street. That's already a sign of how big these terminals are. It really shows you the contrast of Lagos. One moment you're surrounded by a busy market and street vendors, the energy of Oshodi. The next, you're arriving at this huge organized transport hub. Anyways, in our next video, we will explain exactly on how taking those buses over there work, and we will take you along. So yeah, let's just keep going and see what it actually is like when we get there. So we've reached the terminal where we can take the bus. Need to buy a card. It's like a ticket, yeah?
Yeah.
So we need like a ticket. It will take you